Embroidery needs stability, and a great place to provide that stability is through the backing that you use. And I use backing on pretty much everything that I embroider. There are a few different types. Cutaway is a great option for knits or loosely woven materials. It is a very stable option. You do have to cut it away after it's done, hence the name. But it is quite a bit softer than some of the alternatives. So if I'm ever doing anything that's against skin, I'm going to go ahead and consider using a cutaway option. Another option that is available to you is a tearaway option. And tearaway option tends to function a little bit more like, honestly, paper. So if you had a piece of paper and you took a needle and you punched a bunch of holes in it, think about how easily it would be to tear that paper. It would work like an old school roll of stamps, right? You just tear one off and go. Therefore, it's not nearly as stable. So it is not a great choice for anything that needs a lot of stability added to it, but it is a fantastic choice for more stable materials that you just want a little bit of extra stability, a little bit of extra grab for tie-ins, tie-offs, those kinds of things. What I also will use it for is a little bit of insurance. If I am sewing something and it doesn't really need backing, which is rare, but I'm sewing something and there's the possibility I'm going to sew it in the wrong color, or I'm going to misspell a name or something like that. If I go to cut out that embroidery after it's done, flip it over, cut out the bobbin, pull out the top stitching. If I don't have backing, I'm cutting right against that fabric, and that makes me really, really nervous. But if I have a bit of backing in there, I'm cutting against the backing, and that just relieves a little bit of stress. There are some specialty backings out there too, and they're always developing new ones. So I will mention a couple of them, but look at your supplier, and I'm sure they can provide you with a plethora of information about their backing choices. But there's another one. It's a cutaway, but you can see how translucent it is. This I would refer to as kind of a no-show kind of option. It's a bit thinner, but if you are doing a thinner garment that is light in color, and you want to make sure that you don't show that halo around your design, but you need that stability, that no-show is a nice option. Other kind of more interesting options, there's a water-soluble option. So this is actually a cutaway wash away. So you cut the majority of it away and then the rest of it dissolves in water. Now be careful with this, because backing, while it stabilizes the material while it's sewing, a lot of times you can rely on it to provide stability even after being washed. With something like this, or really lightweight tearaway, that's not going to be the case. It's going to kind of get away from you in the wash. That one's going to dissolve completely. This one's going to have the pieces kind of just come undone, leaving only the embroidery behind. If it's something like that, you need to make sure that that embroidery can hold without that backing. What about for caps? For caps, you have something like this. It is a narrower roll of, and you can get them pre-cut as well, but it is a fairly heavy tearaway. Trying to get a pair of scissors into a cap is not the easiest thing in the world, so that's where something like a nice heavy tearaway can come in. Another specialty backing to consider would be, it's a woven backing, and it's handy. It's often sold for kind of that moisture management wear or sports apparel. It is a woven, it is a cutaway. It is relatively thin, but very, very stable and very handy for those kind of looser, less stable garments. So those are backings. Those go underneath the material as it's being sewn. There are also things that are considered toppings. So you lay it down over the material before embroidering, and that would be something like a water-soluble topping, which is kind of a thin film, and you lay it over there, and that helps keep your stitches aloft as it's sewing. Now that too, being water soluble, will go away in the wash, and you would take away most of it ahead of time, but before giving it to your customer, but it will go away in the wash. It does help keep material kind of down while your stitches come up. So that is a really handy option for things like polar fleece or terry cloth or anything with a lot of texture and nap, you might consider using a topping for. So those are your choices for backings and toppings, both of which can improve the quality of your embroidery greatly.